You're watching the American Conference on ESPN. From Charlotte, North Carolina, where tonight the 49ers welcome the North Carolina Tar Heels to a sold-out Jerry Richardson Stadium, hoping to keep Bill Belichick from his first win as a collegiate head coach after a disappointing start on Monday against TCU in Chapel Hill. Gio Lopez expected to get the start tonight for the Tar Heels despite leaving early in the opener against TCU. And they will face off with somebody who won this game last year for North Carolina, the transfer from the Tar Heels, Connor Harrell, the gunslinger now for the 49ers. Alongside Tom Luganbill, I'm Chucky Kemp. Well, one of the biggest questions in all of college football right now, who is North Carolina? How will they respond?
Well, that's what everybody's tuning in for, right? And listen, there's plenty of blame to go around for last week. Certainly not how anybody in Chapel Hill wanted the season to kick off. But the only way to fix it is to get back to fundamentals. They got to coach leverage. They've got to coach technique. They've got to coach hustling to the football and then let the players be relaxed and be loose.
Bill Belichick has had some 0-1 starts as head coach with the Browns in 1991, the Patriots in 2000. We know how that turned out. Tar Heels fans hoping for some of that Belichick magic here in his first year as head coach. Gio Lopez, Max Johnson. The comparison from the opener, Max Johnson probably a little bit better. Those questions will continue regardless of who plays tonight.
And they should continue. The three most important things a quarterback has to do for North Carolina: be accurate, make good decisions with the football, and take care of the football.
We check in now with the third member of our team, Marilyn Payne, with more.
Guys, Gio Lopez took every snap with a first-team offensive line and skill position players tonight. It affirms what offensive coordinator Freddie Kitchens told us, which is that Wednesday at practice, Lopez was a full go, and he was even better Thursday. Bill Belichick says this game is Gio Lopez's as long as he is healthy.
And we will get a chance to see North Carolina's offense first. Liam Boyd tees it up for Charlotte. And Chris Culliver is deep to return for the Tar Heels. Both teams off disappointing openers. Charlotte losing to App State. The kick away and into the end zone for a touchback. Gio Lopez from Madison, Alabama, the transfer from South Alabama, part of a top 25 offense last year.
Yeah, listen, when he's in rhythm and he's hot, he can flat out sling it. But what they need from him is consistency. He's got to be able to take it series in, series out, quarter in, quarter out, and they've got to play much better up front. Again, plenty of blame to go around last weekend, not all on Gio Lopez.
Over 2 hours without a completion, and then in the third quarter takes a shot from behind left, kind of holding his back and would not re-enter. Max Johnson would finish that game and looked pretty good at quarterback. But it is Lopez to start tonight with Benjamin Hall and Caleb Hood in the backfield. Lopez throwing. It will go to Hall in the flats. And a nice pickup on first down to move the chains early.
And I like this play call by Freddie Kitchens, the offensive coordinator. Let's get the quarterback into rhythm early. Let's give him a confidence throw. Little dink and dunk right there. Let your skill players do the rest.
Was a star at South Alabama last year, part of that top 25 offense alongside offensive coordinator Rob Ezell, who has now moved on to Wake Forest to be their OC. Empty set for Lopez. Quick throw out wide to Caleb Hood, one of those other running backs. Another first down, and Hood runs through a tackler. That was Ty Baldwin on the outside.
Well, this is either a bust in alignment or coverage for Charlotte, because they threw the quick screen out there to the boundary, short side of the field. And Charlotte voided the underneath area. Easy gain for North Carolina.
Caleb Hood in the backfield. It's all Lopez going in the air deep this time. Has a man open. What a start for the Tar Heels. Chris Culliver on the long ball from 51 yards out.
Well, Chucky, it looked like last week. The point after's coming here for North Carolina. But what a start for the Tar Heels.
You said
on a
it.
Short week.
Last week, 7 plays, 83 yards to start the game against TCU. Reese Verhoff on for the extra point. It is good, and that is exactly the start North Carolina fans wanted to see.
Well, Chris Culliver just runs by the Charlotte defender. Terrific pass protection, and Gio Lopez drops it right in the bucket. That's Ty Baldwin, transfer from Ball State, and Culliver getting over the top, and that's got to make Gio Lopez and this North Carolina staff feel really good. You wipe clean what's been a miserable week in Chapel Hill. So much negativity, social media, otherwise. And now what you got to do if you're North Carolina, get a stop on defense, get the ball back on offense, and see if you can sustain consistency.
And that's what, as you see on the screen, the next 5 drives after that great start last week combined for just 26 total yards. That is a feel-good start for the Tar Heels as Verhoff set to kick it deep to Henry Rutledge. Low line drive kick out of the back of the end zone for a touchback. Well, now we get to see somebody who's familiar with this matchup. Connor Harrell spent last year at North Carolina, but here he is at Charlotte trying to beat his old team.
Yeah, and listen, and it's going to take not just his arm, it's going to take his legs. That right there, the ability to run, the ability to force North Carolina to account for Connor Harrell in the run game is going to be really important tonight. Showed some bright spots in the loss a week ago against App State, but again, that term consistency applies to both quarterbacks here tonight.
Harrell, 6'2", 210 pounds from Alabaster, Alabama. Hands off to C.J. Stokes on the first play, who pushes ahead for 5 yards. One of the things to watch from both of these teams, both coaching staffs talked about up front, the offensive and defensive lines.
Well, they both were very candid. We got whipped up front on both sides of the football. That's both from Charlotte's coaching staff and Bill Belichick in North Carolina. So who can win the battle in the trenches is going to be pivotal as this game wears on.
2nd and 5 for Harrell. Stokes stays out there, led the backfield, 15 carries, 49 yards. Last week against App State, they go outside. Gus McGee, one of the tight ends, his first catch of the season.
Nice little pitch and catch for Connor Harrell to McGee, and put you in 3rd and short, exactly where you want to be. You want to stay ahead of the chains offensively. You don't want to get in 3rd and long situations. They did that a week ago against App State, and that's when App State started coming after Connor Harrell.
We have not seen a big receiver emerge yet for Charlotte. Just their 2nd game, of course. They lost their leader, Omega Blake, a season ago. Into the flats, hit coming down from the secondary. Gavin Gibson delivering the blow to E.J. Mason, a couple yards short of the sticks. That'll bring the punt unit on for the first time.
This is a nice throw. He just doesn't get to the line to gain, and North Carolina does a really good job of rallying around the football. A lot of white jerseys around that ball at the end of the play. Now we're going to see the 2nd series for North Carolina on offense, which anybody tuning in is wanting to know what they're going to see offensively.
Bronson Long was busy last week for Charlotte. 6 punts with an average of about 48 yards. Will Hardy catches it on the run with a fair catch near the 36-yard line where North Carolina takes over. A great drive to start, but you said it, Tom. What's next for Gio Lopez and company? early trend in this 2025 season for North Carolina is the opening drive touchdowns. 2 for 2 after not scoring on 13 opening drives a season ago. Their offensive coordinator, Freddie Kitchens, getting the job done in that sense early. But it's what can they do to follow this drive. I mentioned the 7 drives out to their opener against TCU, just 26 total yards. Gio Lopez perfect for 75 yards on that first drive. Here's Caleb Hood trying to get outside right side, and he is knocked out of bounds by Reed Williford, their top returner from a year ago.
Yeah, Reed Williford sifting through the wash there to get to that tackle as Charlotte did not set the edge very well into the boundary there against the North Carolina run game.
Charlotte gave up 586 yards against App State. 407 of them came through the air. North Carolina wants to get the passing game right with Gio Lopez. This could be a week to do it. 2nd and 8, throwing, little screen pass for Hood into space, and he is tackled quickly. A nice job by Cary Grant on the outside at 7 stops last week.
Yeah, tackle for loss as well, doing a great job running the alley right here, bringing the ball carrier down. And this is exactly where you want to be if you're Charlotte on defense. Now, a week ago against App State, this is where Charlotte really started to heat them up. They love to bring pressure on 3rd and long, create a lot of run stunts with their defensive line and linebackers. You see them here in a possible simulated pressure.
3rd and 6, will they bring it? That's Jordan Shipp in motion, one of North Carolina's biggest weapons. Lopez looking the way of Shipp. He's going to go underneath, though, and has a man again. Plenty of space here down the sideline to the 37, Javarius Green.
It's a really, really good job. Just waiting and being patient by Gio Lopez. They run the mesh concept with the underneath crosser, and he just drifts away from pressure and dumps it off late.
Handoff up the middle for a gain of about 3. Charleston French on the carry, the redshirt sophomore.
You know, it's interesting, Chucky, because if you said, what's the best, most talented position group that North Carolina has? It's the running back position. It didn't manifest itself a week ago because they were overwhelmed by TCU's defensive front and defensive approach and were constantly in 3rd and long.
They've been used to a good running game with Omarion Hampton, who's now with the Chargers in the backfield the last few seasons. Lopez, again, trying to set up a little screen on the outside. Green is knocked out of bounds quickly by Randy Franklin. 3rd and medium situation.
That last time it looked like they were going to bring pressure, and then they dropped off and got into zone coverage. Be a big defensive stop right here for Charlotte, force a field goal.
It's not just a completely new setup for North Carolina. This is an all-new coaching staff for Charlotte as well. French is the back on 3rd and 5. Shipp in motion. Lopez rolling to French in the flats, trying to get there. What a stop in open field. It was Travion McGee.
Chucky, when that play started, it looked like it was going to turn the corner and go, and McGee comes and he's late to it because he takes a false step because of the crosser to the inside and is able to bring down French. I thought that thing was going to get to the flat and turn around. What a spectacular open field play for Charlotte.
49-yarder for Reese Verhoff, who hit a 51-yarder as his long last year from Marshall. The kick is up, and that is a booming kick through the uprights to give North Carolina a 10-0 lead. The Tar Heels get 3, but something positive for Tim Albin and company. They hold him to a field goal. There's a new man in Charlotte as well. Tim Albin, after 4 seasons, very successful seasons as the head coach at Ohio, 2-time MAC Coach of the Year and a MAC championship last year, their first since the 1960s, as that is a touchback. Albin takes over at Charlotte in a very young program, just their 13th season of existence. Albin's time goes all the way back to his alma mater, won a national championship at the NAIA level at Northwestern Oklahoma State, but what he did at Ohio was remarkable.
4 years as a head coach, 20 years overall. And listen, he's a program builder. He's a player developer. He knows how to win. And what he's most excited about with this Charlotte job is they've got top-down alignment from the board regents to the president to the AD. They all want football to come first.
That's something that excited him in his meetings early on. Bad snap, and North Carolina did not catch that ball in the air. Charlotte is going to maintain possession, but that was almost disastrous. C.J. Stokes was able to recover it.
Woo. Everybody on that Charlotte sidelines wiping their brow, and it looked like the ball was almost a direct snap to C.J. Stokes.
Kamori House, I thought he was going to catch that in the air.
It too.
Now way behind the sticks here. 2nd and 20. Harrell hands off up the middle. They get about 5 or 6 yards back. Just completely put themselves behind it on this drive. How does Charlotte get things going offensively?
Well, you know, they've been able to run the football on a few snaps, and they've averaged about 5 yards a carry. So they're getting some push. The problem is you get behind the chains, and now you're 3rd and 15. You're going to put yourself in an obvious passing situation.
Harrell has time, going to throw downfield seam route. The crowd wanted a flag for an early hit from Gavin Gibson, but nothing coming out. The intended target, Javen Nicholas.
Javen Nicholas is essentially running a seam route right down the hash. Connor Harrell, he could have just stuck the ball on him. He just throws it just outside the outstretched arms of Nicholas. I like the intent. I like the rhythm. Just need a more accurate throw.
Drive that ended before it got started after that bad snap to start things off. 2nd punt for Bronson Long toward Hardy. This one shorter and fair caught at about the 47-yard line. Well, year 1 for Bill Belichick at the college level, but things went fairly well with the New England Patriots. 19 straight winning seasons. That's 2nd longest in NFL history. 17 division titles in 24 years, and the 6 Super Bowls with the Patriots in what was an unbelievable run.
Well, and in college football now, as they've put together this roster, as everybody knows, 70+ new players, he knows as well as anybody, it's not about him. It's about the players. It's what the players can do. It's what the players know, and that's what they're trying to build here with their staff in year 1.
Quick pass by Lopez out wide, and they're going to get about 6 yards. Isaiah Johnson on the catch. For Bill Belichick and his staff with a ton of NFL experience, what is the biggest change that they're going to see at the college level?
I think so much of it is you're not coaching men. You're coaching kids, and their knowledge of the game and the theory of the game isn't going to be as far along as you have with professional football players. Far more teaching, far more fundamentals, far more technique, and then getting them to believe, right? Creating that culture.
2nd and 4, fake handoff to Goss. Lopez again wants to throw it downfield. They like him because he's a dual threat. He will take off and scoots forward close to the 1st down marker.
I like that decision by Gio Lopez. They wanted to throw the deep post corner off of play action here. He doesn't like it. Steps up in the pocket, keeps 2 hands on the ball. He doesn't put the ball in harm's way. Take what the defense gives you. Put yourself in 3rd and short right here. That's a good quarterback decision for this offense.
The big boys out there on 3rd and short. They add an extra offensive lineman, Aiden Buchanan. North Carolina's outgained Charlotte 119-3 so far. Handoff right up the middle to Goss, and he is stuffed at the line of scrimmage. A lot of green jerseys in there. Nowhere to go for Goss.
Chucky, I think North Carolina needs to go for this. They're playing really good defense. Liverpool on the stop right there for Charlotte up front. He just shoots the gap between the guard and the center. It's a good tackle for no gain. But North Carolina going for it, I think it's the right call. You're in control of the game. You've got great field position. Defense is playing well.
The running back is Hood. Jake Johnson in motion. They're going to throw it. Lopez looking down the sideline. He's got Green. It's incomplete. Blanket coverage on the outside. Derek Edwards.
Derek Edwards does a fantastic job tracking and mirroring and staying in the hip pocket of the intended target, getting his offense the ball back. 10-0 North Carolina.
Couple 3-and-outs for Charlotte on their first two offensive possessions. The last one was halted due to a poor snap. Now Connor Harrell and company take over with pretty good field position at their own 43-yard line.
First real good field position they've had through the quarter so far.
That's Nicholas in motion. Handoff to Smith. Up the gut. And bottled up after about 2 yards on the rush. Well, Tom, Charlotte would love to make it an unbelievable day for the American Conference. South Florida just walked it off in the swamp to beat the Gators. So now, too, you saw that South Florida team in the opening week against Boise State. What a start for them to the season.
No question. When you start off with Boise State as your opener, then you got to go to the swamp and you beat Florida. Miami coming up next for the South Florida Bulls. Alex Golich, the head coach, got to be tickled to death with what his team's done. And that quarterback, Byron Brown, he's a handful.
Nobody wants to see South Florida right now. 3rd and 8 for Connor Harrell and the 49ers. Smith in the backfield to the right of Harrell. Pressure coming, picked up and throwing outside, incomplete. Slipping was Justin Olson, the intended target, with Marcus Allen in coverage.
Third and long situations for Charlotte. They've got to have some success early to stay ahead of the chains, to give them a little bit more variety and selection in their play call. Todd Fitz, the offensive coordinator. It's a tough spot to be in when you're backed up.
3 straight 3-and-outs. They've ran 9 plays and gained 5 total yards. Long boots it away. Hardy a chance to return for the first time, but dragged down quickly at about the 28-yard line. Let's check in with Maryland down on the sideline.
North Carolina center Christo Kelly is the vocal leader on this sideline. After their first scoring drive, he was going up to every guy on the bench and yelling, "That's exactly what we want." Physicality. Every single snap drives straight through their defense. Now, he did not play at center on North Carolina's last drive. We saw Chad Lindbergh out there for the first time tonight. Continue to keep an eye on that swap out. Lindbergh now taking the field again at center for the Tar Heels.
Their offensive coordinator, Freddie Kitchens, told us, look, the one thing about having some of these bumps and bruises early is it can make you deeper at that position. You can figure out who can play down the stretch. As the first pass is dropped, that was a forward pass. Isaiah Johnson just didn't haul it in.
Well, and so many of the transfers that were brought in to North Carolina are fifth-year seniors. They are guys who've played a lot of football, regardless of what level they've played. But you're right, it's about finding the right mix. If you have an injury here or you have an injury there, now you got to shuffle the lineup, and maybe you've come up with some magic.
When you were at quarterback, what did you feel like good offensive lines did the most?
Control the line of scrimmage with the initial get off.
2nd and 10. Lopez with time, but stepping up, getting spun around, and he's going to get about 5 yards to make it 3rd and 5.
Starting to see a little pressure, a little pass rush from this Charlotte defensive front. As we talked about earlier, they do like to show a lot of different looks. They want to play games between their tackles and their ends, try to bring some simulated pressures, create some confusion within the offensive line and certainly within the mind of the quarterback.
3rd and 5. Hood in motion, steps back next to Lopez. Showing pressure, they back off, and they bring just 3. Lopez dancing. They're spying him, though. He gets away with 1. Lopez down the sideline, and it is caught along the sideline for a first down, just shy of midfield by Chris Culliver.
Culliver's deep and comes back down the stem. It's like he completed the act of the catch. I think his calf came down in bounds.
They'll take a look at it. It would be Culliver's 2nd catch, had the 51-yard touchdown grab on the opening drive. Looked like they had Lopez on that play, too.
Yeah, they did. They're flushing him from the pocket. They're affecting him, which is good because it gets him off rhythm and off platform. But that time he showed a lot of patience and, most importantly, kept his eyes downfield. Was able to locate a target late.
Bill Belichick asking some questions of our officials today. Our referee, Adam Savoie. Replay official Todd Evans taking a look at this.
Wow. Ooh, that is close. There's the foot. The knee looks like it comes down right on the white. But is the foot down first? And has the ball been received and secured? I don't think he has control of the football as he's rolling over on his back.
Don't you love sitting in this booth and not the one next door right now?
they're talking through the mechanics of it right now. Remember, it's got to be indisputable video evidence to overturn the call on the field. Let's see if it's upheld.
The pass was incomplete. It's 4th down.
And Charlotte's defense comes up big again. Their defensive coordinator, Nate Faunus, has to be really pleased with how they've responded after that opening drive.
No question, and he's a disciple of his head coach, Tim Albin. They go back a long way. That's the guy he knew he wanted to hire as the defensive coordinator here in year 1. That's a good officiating call right there, because I don't believe he had the ball secured as he was rolling onto his back. It was already on the white. And 2 good defensive stanzas there for Charlotte.
Tom McGinnis on to punt. Javen Nicholas deep to return for Charlotte. McGinnis gets it away. Kind of a wobbly punt toward the sideline. And it is fielded late. Charlotte will take over at the 18. Get all of ESPN college football all in one place with the all-new ESPN app. Unlock with the ESPN Unlimited plan or log in with your TV provider. Well, the result of the day is probably down in Gainesville. Charlotte would love to add to that of the surprises this week. But this offense has to get up and moving. Connor Harrell in a pistol set with Rod Gainey Jr., the back behind him. Play action pass. Harrell looking toward the sideline, and they do complete the pass. Low throw, but Miles Burris hauls it in. They moved the sticks for the first time.
Yeah, really nice job getting under that football. And I love the rhythm and timing of Connor Harrell with this throw. He gets back, gets set, balls out. He's just got to get a little more on it to give his target an opportunity to do something after the catch. But moving the chains, fresh set of downs, and again, staying ahead of the chains early.
Up to the 33-yard line. Gainey still the back next to Harrell. Play action pass into the flats. Little push pass out to his big tight end, Burns, who is ran out of bounds after a few yards on first down.
Both teams kind of seem to have settled down a little bit here, kind of getting the feel for one another. And you know, we hear coaches talk all the time, Chucky, that greatest moment of improvement that you're going to see with your teams between week 1 and week 2. And I know both of these coaches subscribe to that notion.
Tim Albin said, you got to go put the work in practice, but that is the expectation, that they will take a big jump this week. Handoff up the middle. Nice gain there on second down to make it 3rd and a couple. One of Gainey's first touches.
Well, now if you're Todd Fitz, the offensive coordinator, you got so much more in your toolbox from a play calling standpoint here.
Going quickly on 3rd and 2. Gainey cutting it upfield, and did he get there? The line judge moves forward, and they will move the chains. A little second effort maybe there from Gainey.
Listen, I like the push right now that Ohio's getting out of this offensive front. When they've lined up and they've just decided to run it, they've had some success. Now, they had some negative yards taken away from their rush totals because of the botched snap 2 series ago. They're getting into rhythm now.
Timeout on the field, charged to North Carolina.
They're first, 30 seconds.
North Carolina saw plenty of the tempo in week 1. TCU seemed to kind of get them out of it defensively, especially after that first drive.
Well, you know, that's the one thing, you know, college football versus the National Football League. You might see some hurry up in 2 minutes. You're not seeing hurry up for 85 plays. All right, and that's what TCU did to them. And now I think as a coaching staff, they realize they got to put their kids in a better position to succeed.
48 points, the most ever allowed by a Bill Belichick-led team. 542 yards. It was through the air, it was on the ground, and just a shocking result.
Well, TCU across the board just dictated terms to North Carolina. This is how the game's going to be played. This is what we're going to do. And North Carolina a week ago did not respond well. I believe Coach when he says, hey, listen, we're better than we played tonight. How much better? We'll find out throughout the course of the season, but they look better and more in tune right now as the second quarter approaches.
Back to that pistol set. Gainey is the back. First and 10, handoff to Gainey, and there's not much doing there. Dragged down from behind by Tyler Thompson, the redshirt sophomore from Cary, North Carolina.
Now, at some point, we're seeing some of the pistol action. We're seeing inside zone, nothing complicated in the run game. But North Carolina's got to be careful because Connor Harrell's going to pull that ball. And they better have somebody scraping off the backside that's going to be responsible for the quarterback. It's only a matter of time.
CJ Stokes is the back this time. Just 4 games last year, suffered a season-ending injury against Indiana. He is drugged down at the original line of scrimmage. A loss of 2. Mekhi Bayer, the Nebraska transfer, spent the spring at Missouri.
Bayer does a really good job getting off the football right there. And he just shoots the gap. And you may say, well, why didn't Connor Harrell pull the ball right there? Because it wasn't a read. It wasn't a check. It was a handoff. It was a designed handoff.
49ers will have a 3rd down when we return in the second quarter. They are just 1 for 4 on that down so far. North Carolina off to a great start at Jerry Richardson Stadium in a packed house. Great atmosphere. It was the long ball that got them on the board. 10-0 after 1. (10-0) North Carolina over Charlotte. Start of the second quarter. There's Steve Belichick, the North Carolina defensive coordinator. You could say for both defenses a much better start this week than last.
Yeah, still kind of trading blows here a little bit, getting a feel for one another. they've been able to keep Charlotte behind the chains for much of this first half. See what they come up with here on 3rd and 10. Decide to heat them up.
Stokes in the backfield. That was Nicholas in motion, running a deep route over the middle. He finds Nicholas. Did he catch it? He did. First down conversion with a flag in the backfield. Connor Harrell took a shot after that throw.
Personal foul, roughing the passer. Defense number 7. 15-yard penalty for an automatic first down.
I'll tell you, Chucky, one of the most difficult things to do playing quarterback is when you've got heat in the kitchen is keeping your eyes downfield, not looking at the rush. What a fantastic job of toughness in the pocket there, and delivers an absolute laser on the deep over route.
It's not just the first down, it's the 15-yard penalty afterward against Kamori House. And now 1st and 10 inside the North Carolina 30. The big tight ends on the field for Charlotte. See if they can get something going on the running game with C.J. Stokes in the backfield. Handoff to Stokes up the middle. That's a little better on first down, but still not much.
I'll take 4.
You've been talking about the running game. Got to get that going on these early downs.
Sure. And now the field's going to start to condense, so of course North Carolina doesn't have to cover as much on the back end. Windows will get tighter in the passing game. But this Charlotte offensive line's leaning on them a little bit.
Stokes still the back. It'll be 2nd and 7. Harrell does pull this one out to Burns. Oh, lowers the head. He's going to be dropped at about the line of scrimmage. That is a big man in Joey Burns the third, 6'1", 280 at tight end. And a brave Gavin Gibson coming up to make a play.
I'm impressed, though, with the effort and the straining to the football on defense. North Carolina is running to the football. They're keeping the ball in front of them. Haven't seen really any shots attempted downfield, but they've tackled well in the open field.
3rd and 7. Charlotte trying to make it back-to-back 3rd down conversions. A handoff to Stokes to the 22-yard line. They pick up about 3. Kamori House on the stop, and that brings up 4th down. A chance, though, for the 49ers to get on the board with a defense that has been holding strong against the Tar Heels after that first drive. Liam Boyd on to kick. Bronson Long, the holder. The kick is up, and it is good. Charlotte on the board against the Tar Heels. They came to play at Jerry Richardson Stadium. Great atmosphere tonight. We've got a ball game at Jerry Richardson Stadium in Charlotte, North Carolina. The 49ers get on the board. 10-3 the score. You're watching the American Conference on ESPN. 12:40 to play here in the first half. And a sellout crowd beyond the capacity here at Jerry Richardson Stadium, hoping to upset the Tar Heels. Those bleachers you just saw were added in. This is a stadium that seats 15,314. They added those temporary bleachers. That adds another 2,400. And there's plenty of standing room only folks around this venue. Chris Culliver from the end zone for North Carolina is knocked down before the 20-yard line. Gio Lopez marches back out there. And much better tonight so far. 8 for 11 for the 110 and a touchdown, as opposed to what he did against TCU. But they have not put together a touchdown drive since the opening one.
Well, and everything's been underneath dink and dunk type throws. And Charlotte, to their credit, has settled in a little bit. They too have tackled well defensively, keeping the ball in front of them. They're not giving North Carolina any gimmies.
Damon June, the back. They will give it to June. Left side, bursts through, and he's got a first down, a pickup of about 16. Franklin on the stop finally.
Really well blocked at the point of attack by North Carolina, the left side of that offensive line, as well as their H-back. And then 35 does the rest.
Lopez pulls it out toward the sideline, caught by Alex Taylor. Another good gain on first down for about 6 yards. We talked about the depth of that running back position for North Carolina. We just saw Damon June. He is the 4th different runner this season already to see a carry.
I'm trying to kind of figure out what the right combination is.
2nd and 4 from the 41. June stays out there. Lopez under center. Hand off to June, running hard up the middle and makes one miss, and then runs through a safety at the end of it to cross the 40-yard line. Damon June came to play.
A tremendous burst to and through the hole by June right there. They just line up and run the duo at the point of attack, meaning they're going to double team both of the defensive tackles. And now that explosive they gave up through the air is starting to manifest itself on the ground for this Charlotte defense.
North Carolina at the Charlotte 40-yard line, a 7-point game with 11 minutes and ticking left in the first half. Jordan Shipp in motion. Haven't said his name tonight yet. Another handoff for June. Pickup of 2.5 yards. Caleb Curtin on the stop.
Now we keep talking about all the new players, right? And with North Carolina, it's 70 players. Well, it's 56 for Charlotte. And you know what? It's like that for everybody. This is the new world we're living in of college football. And it's not always about the athletes you bring in, it's the people. Are you bringing in the right people to create the right nucleus to put together a good football team?
2nd and 8. Lopez throwing out wide and just beyond the outstretched arms of Jordan Shipp to bring up 3rd down. Give us the key, the recipe to putting this together quickly. No preseason games in college football. You got to get it done right away.
Buy-in, and it's harder than ever to do, because what happens now is, where are the allegiances with the players, right? Do you have an allegiance to your NIL bank account? Do you have an allegiance to, your teammates? Do you care about winning? You've got to somehow create a winning culture, a selfless culture, at a time where it's almost impossible to do it. Big 3rd down here, Chucky.
Shipp in motion. Hood the back with Lopez. Low snap. Lopez steps up through pressure and delivers a strike to the sideline. Javarius Green, and a late flag comes out at the line of scrimmage, and this is likely going to come back.
Personal foul, face mask, offense, number 78. 15-yard penalty. It's third down.
Wow.
When you start getting those hands up there high, see 78 right there, Trayvon Green. And he must have snagged it, and he did it right in front of the head referee. And outside of that deep throw on the touchdown to Culver, that was the best throw Gio Lopez has made tonight. That was the only place that ball could have been placed. And now for the first time, North Carolina's way behind the sticks on offense.
3rd and 23. Charlotte's defense has been excellent since the opening touchdown drive for the Tar Heels. Trips to the far side of the field for Lopez, who will hand it off to Goss, and he crosses midfield and gets around the 47-yard line. A lot of green jerseys in there to make the stop. And again, we will see Tom McGinnis, the punter for North Carolina.
Well, and this is Bill Belichick football right here. All right, you don't get it, but just make sure that the last play of a drive either ends in a touchdown or a punt, some form of a kick, and now you're going to play field position with your defense.
Javen Nicholas stands with his heels at his own 10-yard line. McGinnis gets it away. This is a short kick and fielded at the 20-yard line by Nicholas, where Charlotte takes over. The 49ers, they are in this game, every bit of it. Down just 7, and they've got the football on the other side. Seven-point game. Connor Harrell and Charlotte coming off a really nice 11-play, 60-yard drive that ended in a field goal after just 5 total yards on their first 3 drives. What would you like to see them do to build off that?
They've got to get an explosive. They need to do something to flip field position, get this crowd going, gain some momentum on their sideline, which is going to also lead to some confidence.
Harrell's connected on his last 4 throws. Would like to make it 5 right here. Looking downfield, and he has a man. There's a big play to Sean Brown, who stands 6'4", 200 pounds, had just 1 grab last week, his 4th year in this program.
This is an outstanding throw, and again, Connor Harrell, under duress, keeps his eyes downfield and delivers a strike to the big target over the middle, and that's the type of play I'm talking about. Get some momentum, get some explosiveness.
6 straight completions now for Harrell. Broken tackle for Nicholas, and he runs through a man, and they are going to get this crowd into it with plays like that. He only picked up 3, but a physical move from the receiver.
Second and 7 from the 40-yard line.
2nd and 7. Harrell won this game a year ago in a North Carolina jersey. Handoff this time, and nowhere to go. Right on it was Andrew Simpson.
Andrew Simpson came over from Boise State, had a remarkable career for the Broncos, and has brought a wealth of depth. And we talk about program building and chemistry, camaraderie. And if ever there was a program that defined those terms over the last 25 years, it's Boise State. He's bringing that now to the North Carolina locker room.
4 seasons there, 27 tackles for loss, 9.5 sacks. All Mountain West second team a couple of years ago. Back to the original line of scrimmage, 3rd and 10. Harrell, quick throw over the middle, connects. They've got a first down and can't stay on his feet, or it would have been 6 for Javen Nicholas. Oh my goodness, so close.
Well, that's what we were talking about, right, Chucky? Do something to flip this field position so you get 2 big explosives. You convert a 3rd and 10, and Connor Harrell once again throwing darts when they need him most.
Rutledge in the backfield, 1st and 10 at the 44 of North Carolina, and Rutledge has space. Biggest run of the game for Charlotte, and look at the 49ers. Gibson makes the stop, but moved the chains again.
No, Rutledge was a guy that Bill Belichick mentioned in his press conference this week, as well as our meeting with him on Friday. He brings some juice to this offense, a scat back type that can make you miss, but so quick to and through the hole.
Timeout to repair the chains.
Timeout on the field to repair the chains. So Charlotte's moving them so aggressively.
You know a good chain repair guy?
I don't. Do you?
No,
You're from here.
I hope they got one on hand.
You got
There's
somebody on speed dial?
Enough people in the stadium, I'll tell you that. Well, oh, you know what? You just get some athletic tape. It's like duct tape. It cures everything.
Tim Albin's #1 priority, we thought, was the transfer portal coming in. After the halt to this fantastic drive, it will now be the chains on the sideline.
North Carolina's got to get their cleats in the ground and start getting off the football. This Charlotte offensive line starting to feel it a little bit.
C.J. Stokes is the back. 1st and 10 at the North Carolina 30. Stokes handoff makes one miss, but he's dragged down after a gain of 1. Melkart Abujade on the stop. Transfer from Delaware. Stokes stays the back. Justin Olson, the receiver at the bottom of your screen with the big tight end, Burns. Harrell looking this way, pressure coming, stands tall and delivers a strike. Another first down inside the 15. Gus McGee.
Once again, Connor Harrell working through his progression, poised, composed, comes right down to the crosser there, and Gus McGee. And what a fantastic drive that started on their own 20-yard line.
Harrell pulls it and wants to run. White jerseys closing in quickly as he gets back to the original line of scrimmage. Simpson was one of those jerseys closing down on him. You just have to wonder what kind of emotions are running through the mind of Connor Harrell, certainly in the build up to this game, but even now.
Well, and The worry is that you let it control you and affect your game, and that's one thing we haven't seen from Connor Harrell. He's been poised. You would never even know he used to play for North Carolina.
Spent 3 years in Chapel Hill. Handoff to Stokes, who's in trouble, and that was a big left hand of DeAndre Robinson, the 315-pounder from Orlando, Florida, on the stop.
Big guy, transfer from the University of Florida. He's a 315-pounder. They've got some big bodies on the inside. Vast majority, as we all know, are transfers, and they're trying to figure out how to play as a unit.
They got Charlotte behind the sticks, 3rd and 14. Is there more magic in the arm of Harrell to keep this drive going? Looking to the 3-receiver side. Little screen pass set up. Some blockers inside the 10. Tripped up near the 9-yard line is C.J. Stokes. And that'll bring up 4th down. And the field goal unit jogging back on.
Well set up screen here to Stokes. 52, Johnny King, the center, leading the way.
Charlotte 71.
You almost wish that was the play call on the previous down.
King is the anchor of this offensive line, a 4th-year starter. Made 27 starts over the last 3 seasons here at Charlotte. Liam Boyd on for the field goal. 27-yarder is up, and it is no good. A spectacular offensive drive ends in disappointment. Still just a 1-score game. Charlotte hanging tight with North Carolina. Charlotte defense has been excellent, but this offense is starting to heat up. 11 plays, 71 yards over 6 minutes. They didn't get any points, though.
Yeah, it's a killer to come away with no points there. Just what we talked about at the beginning of that drive. Get an explosive, change momentum, get the crowd involved. It's exactly what they did, and don't convert in the kicking game.
Benjamin Hall and Caleb Hood, both running backs in the game. Hood takes his spot next to Lopez. Lopez wants to throw it. Hall in the flats, looking down the sideline, and throws a strike to Chris Culliver. It's becoming one of his favorite targets here in week 2 after he didn't have a catch in week 1.
Gio Lopez is really good on the move. Off-platform throws, really accurate. For a lefty, you're throwing to your left and your momentum's carrying you to the sideline. Throws a strike.
Hood and Hall surrounding Lopez in the backfield. Ship in motion to the slot at the top of your screen. Lopez on the keeper, gets away from one man, and here's the speed from Lopez as he picks up a first down. Right at a 10-yard gain for Gio Lopez.
See some penetration there in the backfield. He almost goes down. Lopez able to use the wheels.
This is
Jarrell Liverpool, who called his name early. Timeout on the field is the 2-minute timeout. Lopez trying to lead the Tar Heels down the field before halftime and make this a 2-score game. Welcome back to the American Conference on ESPN. Tim Albin trying to boost the conference up once again after already one big win for USF in Gainesville over Florida. 7-point game at the 2-minute timeout. This is Charlotte defense trying to hold North Carolina yet again after 10 early points. 1st and 10 for the Tar Heels at their own 47-yard line. Handoff coming left side for Hall, and there's a lot of green jerseys to make the stop behind the line of scrimmage, led by Reed Williford.
Reed Williford, 35, Shea Taylor, all over it. And got to be honest with you, I don't like the east to west running.
Timeout.
When North Carolina was having success running the football, particularly on the previous drive, it was all downhill, inside zone, outside zone, and they were playing from under center at the quarterback position.
Clock to 147. 147 on the game clock, please.
Charlotte takes a timeout. For more on their defense, we go down to Maryland.
This group does. Linebacker Shea Taylor said that in these tough moments, the strength of the culture here at Charlotte that was brought down from Ohio is that this group does not hang its heads. And the secondary for Charlotte has been the most animated position group on either sideline tonight. Moment in and moment out, they hype one another up. They keep their heads lifted, and all of the position coaches can encourage these athletes. We are making the changes we want to make.
2nd and 14. Lopez coming this way toward Culliver after the fake, and he's back beyond the original line of scrimmage near midfield to the 50 to set up 3rd and 7.
And I agree with Maryland in terms of the adjustments that are being made. Guys just settling in. Settle down. We're okay. Read your keys. Do what you're coached to do. And they're making North Carolina earn it now. And now North Carolina with a 3rd and long coming up.
Chris Culliver in some pain after that catch on the field. He's had a good game so far. Caught that 51-yard touchdown to start the night.
He's certainly been the go-to guy for Gio Lopez in this offense tonight.
Culliver, a junior from Maiden, North Carolina, 3rd year in this program.
Timeout for an injury to an offensive player. Charlotte has declined the 10-second runoff. Clock will start on the snap.
Yeah, they have. They want to get the ball back.
Oh. Called a timeout. The last play in order to extend this half. It's going to be 3rd and 7 as they get Culliver on his feet for Bill Belichick in North Carolina, who maybe have more questions mounting than answers in week 2, at least to this point in the game. We'll keep an eye on Culliver as the night progresses. Back to what Maryland was talking about with this defense. Nate Faunus, talks about Shea Taylor and Caden Schmidt. Some of those Ohio guys coming over said they understand the standard. They get the expectations. And he said, though, as a unit, this group has come a long way since the spring in those areas. Already seen big improvements from week 1 to week 2 defensively for this Charlotte defense. Ship in motion. 3rd and 7 at midfield. Lopez with time. Stepping up, Lopez gonna run it, and he's gonna get the 1st down. Barges through just beyond the marker. Jamarion Solomon, one of the Charlotte defenders, in on the play.
Gio Lopez navigating the pocket nicely here, keeping his eyes downfield, and instead of taking a risk with the football, just tucks it and runs, getting the 1st down. Smart, heady play.
1st and 10 at the Charlotte 42. Davion Goss, the back in the backfield. Lopez, again, clean pocket, looking down the sideline. Great coverage there, and nowhere to go. CJ Clinkscales absolutely draped on Green.
Completely different outlook defensively in the secondary. Instead of sitting and waiting and peeking, they're getting up in the faces of these North Carolina wide receivers. That time the Boston College transfer. And Clinkscales, there's nowhere for the ball to go right there. Clinkscales runs the receiver into the sideline. No more real estate.
Second and 10 for Lopez and company. 1 minute, 1 second remain in the 1st half. Low snap. Charlotte bringing pressure, but it was picked up really well. Lopez being chased from behind and dives ahead. He might have got the 1st down. They're going to mark him just shy, a 9-yard pickup on 2nd down. Timeout, North Carolina.
Shaq Kaba, number 55 at the top of the screen. And he is turning and running, and they're closing the walls in on Gio Lopez, but he's been so crafty at navigating the pocket and taking what the defense gives him. And part of that's part of your progression. You're going to get through 1, 2, 3. If you don't like it, there's open grass in front of you. Take the front door and go.
Part of the reason North Carolina liked Gio Lopez out of South Alabama, the dual threat, threw for almost 2,600 yards and 18 touchdowns last year, but he ran for 460 and 7 scores. There's those rushing stats for Lopez a season ago at South Alabama. I mentioned that's a top 25 offense a year ago.
Well, I had Gio Lopez when he was a true freshman. He had to play and fill in for Carter Bradley at South Alabama, and one of the things that stood out was how he handled himself. Moment wasn't too big, ran the offense, didn't take risks with the football, and now he's got some experience under his belt.
3rd and 1. Ship moves over to the left of Lopez. Lopez on the keeper, cuts up field and reaches. He'll have the first down, tackled by Randy Franklin from the secondary.
It's a good pull by Gio Lopez there. Charlotte all over the running back.
Clock stop for just a moment for them to set the ball down to 35 seconds and ticking. North Carolina just 1 timeout. Lopez batted at the line and incomplete. Braden Mullen getting his mitt in the air, the transfer from Dartmouth.
Huge defensive series here because Charlotte's going to get the ball coming out of the locker room to start the 3rd quarter on offense. Way to get the big paw up there, young man.
Mullen, a redshirt senior from Glenview, Illinois. Over the last few seasons at Dartmouth, 20.5 tackles for loss, 13.5 sacks. A nice addition out of the portal for Nate Faunus and this defense. 2nd and 10 at the 31-yard line.
Well, he didn't have to change team colors either.
Isn't that nice?
Yeah.
Go to the closet. Yeah, this will work. I'll pull it inside out.
Kind of like his head coach.
Yeah. 2nd and 10. Lopez standing tall, throwing across the middle to Ship. His first grab near the 25-yard line, fighting for yards, and finally sat down by Cary Grant. And a late flag coming in. The last thing either of these teams wants to see right now. Adam Savoie talking things over with his fellow officials. Either way, this is a big call.
After the play, personal foul, unnecessary roughness, defense number 9. Penalty is half the distance to the goal and an automatic first down. UNC has declined the 10-second runoff. The clock will start on the snap.
You're going to see this late. There's going to be a lot of green jerseys around the pile. Cary Grant's going to come in right there at the end. And that was a late thrown flag. I don't know if I like it.
It looked like Ship was still fighting for yardage, and I didn't hear a whistle. 18 seconds, and now North Carolina at the 13-yard line. Lopez going to hand this off. Goss has space, and he's going to score. Davion Goss for the first time this season. North Carolina in front by 2 scores.
What a killer penalty that ended up being, because it changed the perspective for North Carolina offensively. You had them right where you wanted them. Allowed the underneath catch, that came up and made a tackle, and then you tack 15 onto it.
Verhoff on to finish off this 11-play, 80-yard drive with the extra point, and does, to make it 17-3. Goss gets his first touchdown of the season for North Carolina. We saw Caleb Hood, one of their running backs last week, score on their opening drive. We have seen a lot of different guys in that backfield so far for the Tar Heels.
See, Natron means
is now 49. Charlotte 0.
former North Carolina Tar Heel running back and San Diego Charger, tutor in the Young Bucks. There he is, right on the right of your screen. David McGoss, just a true sophomore, was a highly recruited player a year ago in Mac Brown's final class. You said it earlier, Chucky, this is a talented group of running backs for North Carolina.
You think about the last 7-8 minutes of this game. A fantastic drive from Charlotte.
Yep.
All the way down. A chip shot field goal gets missed. North Carolina ends up at the end of this half responding with a touchdown drive of their own for 80 yards over 11 plays. And this has a real good chance it will be a 2-score game at halftime.
Well, the score is not indicative of the tone of the game and how the game has been played to this point. Charlotte's got to come up with some answers so that opening offensive series will be a successful one.
Halftime in Charlotte, North Carolina. Tim Albin and the 49ers giving the Tar Heels all they can handle, but you said it, maybe not completely indicative of what we've seen. Bill Belichick and company up by 14 at the break.
You know, a play here, a play there. You give up the explosive on the first series, and then you settle down. You know, you got to come up with a way of capitalizing on momentum when you have it. And Charlotte's had it a couple of times and haven't been able to come away with points.
17-3 North Carolina over Charlotte. A little in-state battle for week 2. Fantastic atmosphere for college football at Jerry Richardson Stadium, and the second ever meeting between these two programs.
Welcome into Studio A. I'm Maria Tribal Peace. Football is back, and all 14 American Conference teams were in action this past week, so naturally, we have some top plays featuring the pigskin. It was a big night for North Texas, both offensively and defensively. Wyatt Young makes a reception from Drew Mestemaker, dodges multiple defenders, then dives into the end zone. The Army Black Knights were looking to get into a groove offensively. Brady Anderson says, "I'm going to help you out with that." Here he is, diving backwards to make the catch. It wouldn't be a week of top plays without mentioning Memphis women's soccer. Here they are taking on Mizzou. Ai Kitagawa, we've heard her name plenty on top plays. She finds the back of the net. You always hope that your teammate has your back, and the Tulsa Golden Hurricane put that into action. Kevin Thollinger sprinting in, helping his buddy out to make a save. You have to pay close attention here in play number 1. It looks like that South Florida is going to punt the ball, but Lachlan Hewlett, he throws the pass, finds Keyshawn Singleton, who runs it in for a touchdown. We have a bonus play for you here this week, and this is why we needed to add it, because punters are people too. Angus Davies for Tulsa, an 80-yard punt. Oh my goodness. If you see a top play this week, make sure you use the hashtag American Top Plays. Keep it right here. We have more action for you on ESPN+.
The American on ESPN Plus is home to more than 40 college football games, over 1,000 exclusive live events, and every American Conference championship throughout the season. For more information and to sign up, visit stream.espn.com. Back at Jerry Richardson Stadium in Charlotte, North Carolina, halftime between the Tar Heels and the 49ers. Second half action coming up in just a few moments. You're watching the American Conference on ESPN. Beyond capacity crowd at Jerry Richardson Stadium for tonight's matchup between North Carolina and Charlotte. At the break, it's Tar Heels by 14 over the 49ers in a game that maybe doesn't quite tell you how that first half went. Connor Harrell and that offense started to get it rolling, but a late missed field goal cost him, and North Carolina made him pay with a touchdown the other direction to make it a two-score game. Well, in the booth here at Jerry Richardson Stadium, he's Tom Luganville. I'm Chucky Kemp. North Carolina was a big story coming into this one. Let's talk offense first. What stood out most to you?
Well, there was a little bit of a lull in the back half of the first quarter and the first part of the second quarter for the North Carolina offense, and then they started to come alive a little bit. I think they've got to continue to establish the ground game and get push in the offensive front. This is a team that was averaging 6.3 yards a carry in the first half when they chose to run the football. Now, a lot of that was from Gio Lopez and some of the scrambles that he made to gain positive yardage. But this is one of those games where I feel like North Carolina is just good enough to play keep away from Charlotte if they continue to run the football and establish the line of scrimmage.
Well, Gio Lopez did start to get it going, especially early in this game with the long throw down the sideline to Culliver. And this is what really kind of looks similar to what we saw in the opening game against TCU.
Yeah, hot start, hitting all the marks, and it looked really, really good. And then, you know, a couple of plays here and there that Gio Lopez, I thought, did a really nice job of showing some patience, navigating the pocket, as you see right here, keeping his eyes downfield, and then taking what the defense gives him. He hasn't put the ball in harm's way. And for me, if you can rely on him making some of those off-schedule plays and continue to turn around and hand the ball off, there's four running backs in that stable that are pretty good.
On the other side, Connor Harrell, really rough start for Charlotte offensively behind the sticks, and then Harrell started making some big-time throws.
He did, and really showed the toughness and the wherewithal to hang in there under duress and throw accurate passes. He created some explosives, but you cannot go almost 80 yards and take 6 minutes off the clock, and you're shifting momentum and then come away with no points. That cannot happen. They have to get off to a fast start in the third quarter here, considering they have the ball first.
North Carolina finishes with an advantage in yardage by about 119, 239 to 120, and then the average yards per play also well in the Tar Heels' favor. But time of possession goes the other way for the 49ers. Had a couple long drives, just not amount to enough or nothing. Let's go down to the third member of our team, Marilyn Payne.
A couple of injury notes from North Carolina. Chris Culver, who we saw leave the field on North Carolina's last drive, is out with a shoulder injury. He will not return for the Tar Heels. Also keep an eye on number 17 Waters for North Carolina. He's a defensive back who is suffering an illness right now, and they're going to try and have him play in the second half, but he may not. As for Charlotte, the focus for them is maintaining the confidence that they showed in between North Carolina's 2 touchdown drives on defense, and look for explosive plays by the 49ers on offense. It's what their coaching staff believes is the only way that they can get back into this game.
You stressed that on their final drive. We saw that, but this drive right here, so important for the 49ers. A touchback will put them at the 25-yard line for their starting field position.
I agree with Coach Tim Albin and his staff. They've got to, again, and they did this, but you've got to capitalize on it after you do it, and that's create momentum through explosive plays. You've got a great crowd here. You need to get them into the ball game and see if you can sustain some consistency.
That final drive, it was Javen Nicholas on a crosser route that almost busted it for a huge score, but stumbled and couldn't catch his feet. Fake from Harrell, pressure closing down, nice throw over the top, and caught there by Javen Nicholas right on cue, pushes his way forward for a 16-yard pickup on the first play of the half.
It's a heck of a way to start off this drive, and again, Connor Harrell showing some patience in the pocket, delivers a strike, and Nicholas doing the rest to gain a few extra yards. A lot of white jerseys hanging on.
1st and 10, Harrell in a pistol formation with C.J. Stokes behind him. Stokes on the carry. They got the run game going on that last drive as well, and there's 5 yards on first down.
You know, a week ago, TCU really gave North Carolina fits with the tempo. And I think if you get some momentum here, and you can create an explosive or a big gainer on first and second down, it might benefit Charlotte to do the same.
Harrell is feeling it right now. 10 straight completions. 2nd and 5. Harrell with time, now rolling to his right, long throw, and that is a strike to Nicholas again.
Nicholas is in the slot right there and just runs a 10-yard speed cut out while they're moving the pocket and rolling out Connor Harrell. Easy pitch and catch. Good first few plays here for the 49ers.
Nicholas in the slot to the top of your screen has been the favorite target of Harrell tonight. After just one catch a week ago, Stokes on the carry. He's knocked down after a short gain on first down by DeAndre Robinson. See maybe a little fatigue. You talked about the tempo. There's some tired white jerseys on that field already.
Yeah, we're already seeing hands on the hips, and we're only a few plays into the third quarter here.
2nd and 9. Harrell, quick throw. Nicholas, little tunnel screen, driven into the ground after a pickup of 5. Isaiah Johnson finished it.
Javen Nicholas came over from LSU, was kind of a sub-package guy there, and Todd Fitz, the offensive coordinator, had spent some time down in Baton Rouge, and he's turning into a really good little reliable player here, not just as a route runner, but after the catch.
New Orleans native, was a preferred walk-on for the Tigers back in 2022. Nicholas in motion, Harrell watching him on the crossing pattern. Harrell moving and throwing back across the field, batted down by Gavin Gibson. Flag on the play. It is on the far side of the field near the 33-yard line.
Connor Harrell thinks it's on.
Personal foul, face mask, defense, number 21.
Yep.
15-yard penalty, an automatic first down.
It's Caleb Cost.
6 tackles a week ago from the North Carolina safety, and you see him to the top of your screen there, and he's just pulling and tugging and completely away from the play. Good eyes by the officials.
1st and 10 at the 24. Can Charlotte finish a drive? Quick throw to Nicholas, and North Carolina was all over that one. Gibson hauls him down on a loss of 1.
Talked about the age of this North Carolina team. A lot of 5th-year seniors. He's one came over from East Carolina out of Huff High School here in North Carolina. Just a really good open field tackle. Just didn't have the numbers on the perimeter to match defenders for North Carolina.
Trips to the far side of the field for Harrell. Looking that direction outside, and he hit his receiver E.J. Mason in the back. He wasn't quite into his cut.
Well, Marcus Allen, the corner, who took a lot of heat for his performance a week ago, and it wasn't all on him. And that time you see some tussling back and forth. Watch this right here as Mason's trying to get out of his break, and I'm not so sure that wasn't defensive holding. Timing was right on Harrell. He's throwing to a spot on that deep speed cut.
Certainly accurate.
Yep.
3rd and 11.
Couldn't avoid the contact.
Harrell, pocket closing over the middle, and again short of a first down at the 20-yard line. Mason able to make the catch that time. Gibson's been all over the place. Cost also in on that stop. 4th and 6. They missed a field goal shorter than this late in the first half. Charlotte is going to go.
Well, Tim Albin knows field goals are not going to get them back into this football game.
Nicholas in motion. Will it be him again? Looking his direction. Pressure coming. Harrell moving. Got to make make a play. 4th down, throws, and dropped in the end zone. He was looking at Mason. It looked to be on target. Charlotte again comes up short.
Connor Harrell just so off balance here. It's tough for him to get any momentum or power behind the throw, but still a catchable ball by Mason.
Well, it's going to be a story of missed opportunities if this continues for Charlotte. This is that 4th down play, and what a play it was by Connor Harrell.
Yeah, it's a tough throw, and it was a difficult catch, and it looked like Mason lost his footing a little bit in the end zone and goes down a bit awkwardly, but he's a playmaker, and somebody on this team for Charlotte's got to make a play when they need it. You could make the argument that outside of the drive from North Carolina to end the second quarter, the better drives and consistent offensive play have come from Charlotte. They haven't been able to capitalize with points.
Missed field goal, and really their field goal drive in general ending in a field goal might have been considered a missed opportunity, as Lopez just grounds it, nothing there. He's looking the direction of Benjamin Hall. Shea Taylor was all over it for Charlotte.
Charlotte covered down there. There was nowhere to go with the ball, and Lopez knew it immediately. Makes a wise decision to live to play the next down.
Lopez 12 for 19, 145 yards, a touchdown, no interceptions. 2nd down, little bunch set to the left for Gio Lopez. Looking out for Hall in the flats. Here come the 49ers to stop him at the 18-yard line. Jarrell Liverpool among others to make the stop.
Right now, Charlotte's playing with more urgency. There's a lot of green jerseys around that football. Not a lot of people holding in stock blocks on the perimeter. If you're going to throw that ball out there, you got to have some help from your partners. Charlotte doing a really good job covering down.
Tar Heels 3 for 7 on third down. Can Charlotte get another defensive stop and give their offense good field position? Empty backfield. Now Hood takes his place next to Lopez. 3rd and 11. Little screen pass for Hood. Here they are. Sniffed out immediately on that play. Randy Franklin.
Watch Derek Edwards, number 8, come flying in. Oh, excuse me, I think that's Colin Gill and Edwards there, both on the tackle. Well, great pursuit. And as you said it, Chucky, another opportunity is the returner standing on his own 40-yard line for Charlotte to have great field position.
That's Nicholas back deep to return this from McGinnis. A flag and a false start.
Offense number 18, 5-yard penalty. It's 4th down.
This is the stuff that will likely keep Bill Belichick up at night.
Absolutely. Pre-snap penalties in the kicking game.
Now McGinnis out of his own end zone. And Nicholas up to his own 45-yard line. McGinnis gets it away, and this is a really nice punt over the head of Nicholas. Backs him up to the 30-yard line. Nicholas with a full head of steam hit hard and spun down at about the 37, where Charlotte will take over with decent field position, but a nice punt there by McGinnis.
Let's see Charlotte do some tempo here. I want to see them speed it up, force North Carolina to react. As you mentioned, the defensive front for North Carolina kind of milling around prior to the snap. See if you can get their tongues dragging a little bit.
Connor Harrell, 16 of 22, had that stretch where he completed 11 straight. CJ Stokes in the backfield. They've had their fair share of 10 to 15-yard plays in these last few drives. Nicholas in motion, low snap. Harrell a little bit off time here, and Nicholas blown up by Thaddeus Dixon.
You see the bot snap right here, and that kind of impacts the timing of the play. This ball should have been out in that flat a lot quicker than it was. Loudon Dixon come up and make a play. The Washington transfer who played for Steve Belichick a year ago. TCU stayed away from him last week, making his presence known there.
All Big Ten honorable mention a season ago, had a couple picks for Washington. Another bad snap, and Harrell falls on it. It is starting to rain a little bit again here in Charlotte, so maybe that becoming an issue between King and Harrell at the moment.
Well, the first one went to Harrell's left. This time it goes to his right as he's trying to reach on that nose guard. And now you're sitting there at 3rd and close to 21.
We saw a similar drive like this on one of their first in the first half. They got behind the sticks immediately because of a snap. 3rd and 20. Harrell, pressure coming, spins away, and he's knocked down. Andrew Simpson, the Dick Butkus Award preseason watch list member, coming up big on 3rd down.
Well, getting some pass rush and some urgency there. That time Connor Harrell probably held the ball a little longer than he'd like to, but he knows he's got 20 yards he needs to gain. Had some speed and effort coming off the edge there for number 40. Tyler Thompson, Andrew Simpson there to finish it off.
Javarius Green deep to return. That was nearly blocked. It's a low spiraling kick fielded at the 35. Green has time. Runs into trouble though and only gets a few yards. Charlotte's defense doing everything they can, fighting and clawing, but still down 14 to Bill Belichick in North Carolina. A very experienced offensive coordinator there for Bill Belichick. Freddie Kitchens, who's had his time in college football and the NFL. I was talking about Freddie, he's a holdover from Mac Brown's staff and that era, and kind of joked that when Bill came in, there wasn't a whole lot of conversation about him staying. It was just more of an assumption. Said we both showed up to work one day and just went to work. Hand off to Hood, who is dragged down just across the 40-yard line.
Yeah, no formal interview, no, hey, you know, how do we want to do this? Do you want to be here? None of that stuff. They just kind of kept showing them the work at the same time, and nobody told them to leave.
That's what happened with us, too.
Yeah, exactly, right?
Except you showed up and said, hey, what's going on here?
Well, he's got a professional football mentality. He's got enough concepts of the spread that apply to college football, and they're a blend. They're multiple offensively.
Lopez looking to throw, fires it in to the 45-yard line to Kobe Paysor. He is a returning starter, one of their top receivers returning to this team, 365 yards a season ago.
Well, as you mentioned, Chris Culliver out with a shoulder injury for the rest of this game. So Kobe Paysor, who's been around this program for quite a while, he and Jordan Shipp need to start making some plays.
3rd and 2, empty set for Gio Lopez. Pressure coming, throwing, and incomplete. Nate Faunus dialed it up on 3rd and short. Curtis Simpson got there first.
Really good pressure here in the face of Gio Lopez, and there's nowhere to go with the ball. The old phrase, pressure bursts the pipe. They do a twist between the nose tackle and the Sam linebacker there. Really tough when you've got people in your face to throw an accurate football under duress.
Tom McGinnis getting his work in as the punter tonight for North Carolina. Nicholas deep to return inside his own 15-yard line. McGinnis gets it away. Fair catch signaled for at the 14, where Charlotte's offense will once again take over. They do not want to replicate the last drive. The snap problems for Connor Harrell and his offensive line. They need a big drive here for their head coach, Tim Albin. just alludes to what we talked about at halftime. This score line maybe does not indicate what we've seen in this game. Charlotte 34 yards to just 1 for North Carolina, and a couple punts for the Tar Heels in this second half. The big difference, though, is that drop touchdown for Charlotte and a turnover on downs. Starting this drive at their own 14-yard line, 1st and 10. Still plenty of time left in this game, but they need points, and they need them in a hurry, so there's nothing doing on 1st down. Let's go down to Maryland.
Chucky, you mentioned the dropped TD. The emphasis of the Charlotte offense this week was fixing the small stuff and fixing the unforced mistakes. So you know that play is one they want back. But as Luke's alluded to on the field, Connor Harrell, the quarterback for this team, is completely businesslike. His demeanor has not changed on any end of drive the entire game. He is completely locked in and emotionless. His breath isn't even fast. His chest doesn't even rise quickly and fall quickly.
Yeah, Connor Harrell in just game 2 as the Charlotte starting quarterbacks. He delivers a nice ball to E.J. Mason. They are close to a 1st down. It will be a 1st down, but I think they've got their guy, Tom.
Well, they do, and he's only going to get better. You know, new offense, new players around him. He'll start to grow with terminology, and they'll put more on his plate as he earns it. It's a really good throw right there, and fresh set of downs, but they've been able to sustain some things nicely. They haven't been able to capitalize, and that last drive was just full of self-inflicted wounds.
3 of their last 4 drives have gone at least 10 plays and at least 55 yards, and they have 3 points. 1st and 10 at the 24-yard line. Harrell looking over the middle, now into the flats, and it is dropped by Stokes. Dixon was closing in anyway.
Yeah, that was getting ready to be another big collision from Dixon, as we saw in the previous series.
Second and 10 for Charlotte, who scored just 11 points a week ago against App State, a game that they were playing tightly with them in the early stages, and then it really got away from them. Harrell on 2nd and 10, looking down the sideline. The throw is incomplete. There was some jostling, and they were looking for a flag. Jalen Hampton was the intended target with Marcus Allen in coverage.
That was a pretty good back shoulder throw that time from Connor Harrell. Some hand fighting there. It's good no call. Good position. Tough, tight window on the back shoulder there, and Harrell takes a lower body shot.
Big 3rd down. 4-man rush for North Carolina, gets through and flushes Harrell. He's got plenty of speed here. North Carolina closing in, throwing down the sideline, and it's batted away. Jaden Patterson, the sophomore from Georgia, in coverage.
Connor Harrell moving out to his left, just nowhere to go with the football, tries to make a last-ditch effort. Credit North Carolina covering down, keeping the ball in front of them, forcing a punt here and there, likely to get nice field position.
Talked about the self-inflicted mistakes for Charlotte. That was all North Carolina defensively on that stop, as Long sends it away, and it's fair caught at the 40-yard line by Green. Chance here for Gio Lopez and this offense to really put Charlotte in a tough hole. There is a flag on the field back at the 22-yard line.
Illegal formation, kicking team, more than 4 players in the backfield. 5-yard penalty will be added to the end of the play. 1st down, UNC.
Tar Heels will get it at the 45-yard line. Lopez, your assessment of him tonight after a tough week 1?
I think he's been very efficient. He hasn't put the ball in harm's way. He's made a couple of critical throws, and maybe more importantly, some runs that could have been negative plays that he turned into positive yardage. This Charlotte defense has given them all they can handle. It's the reason Charlotte's even remotely in this ball game right now.
Hood on the run and just pushing behind his big center Chad Lindbergh on the play. He gets 6 on first down.
This is what we talked about at halftime, Chucky. I think the downhill run, not the east to west stuff, is the answer for North Carolina. They've had success with it tonight. They averaged 6.3 yards a carry in the first half. A lot of that had to do with some of the scrambles and some of the pickups that Gio Lopez acquired. But when they get under center and they just turn around and hand it off, that's where they've been most successful in the run game.
Damon June is the guy who, as a running back, has had the most success. 3 carries, 37 yards. Have not seen a lot of him, though, since early in this game. Nice tackle on the outside by Gavin Shipman. Gets to Caleb Hood.
It's a terrific open field tackle, and if he doesn't make it, Caleb Hood turns the corner, and then it's a chase down. So another big 3rd down for this Charlotte defense. As you referenced earlier, Chuck, he hasn't been overly efficient on 3rd down for North Carolina tonight offensively.
3 for 9 for Lopez and company. Empty set. Moves the tight end Jake Johnson. Lopez looking to throw. Pocket collapsing. Lopez with the legs makes a man miss, and he has a first down, tackled by Taylor on the play. Again, a play that could have gone for negative like you talked about. Lopez making it happen.
That's really been the difference tonight, Chucky, is he's been able to avoid the negative play from within the pocket by keeping his eyes downfield and then recognizing where there's that crease, where's that open front door, and I can take off. And he's done it multiple times to extend drives for Carolina.
3 times he's ran for a first down in this game. This is Damon June in the backfield. Mentioned averaging over 10 yards per carry, just pushing behind his big offensive lineman. Just past the 40-yard line for a short pickup of about 3 on first down. North Carolina milking the clock. Looking to make it the first win of this new era after 6 seasons of Mac Brown, who posted a 44-33 record, was just 1-4 in bowl games, though. Bill Belichick steps in, trying to pick up his first win as a collegiate head coach at the age of 73. Lopez on the move again, makes one miss, and then he's hit hard at the 35-yard line. Conley makes the stop.
It's the first time we've seen some happy feet from Gio Lopez. He was waiting for something to come open to his right side. It didn't. His feet started chopping, and he knew the walls were closing in.
You still remember that? Still remember that feeling?
Oh, yeah. You feel like you're in the trash compactor in Star Wars.
I knew we'd be friends, man. Star Wars reference. Ship on the end around. He falls forward, but will be about 1.5 yards short. We just have not said Jordan Ship's name a lot tonight. He's a Charlotte native. Said he was actually watching his high school Providence Day last night. They had the web stream going, so he was watching that game. He's excited to play today.
Again, the east-west stuff has not been the winning recipe. See what North Carolina comes up with here. This is a long 2.
June is the back. Crowd on their feet at Jerry Richardson Stadium, and a timeout on the field.
UNC, they're first.
By North Carolina.
He's going to rethink this. As you see some of the special teams players on that sideline start to gather.
If you go here, what do you like?
Well, listen, I think you have to go here. And I would line up and lean on this offensive line. Maybe get into some 12 personnel with some 2 tight ends, motion some people, get some movement. And then, you know, one of the things you might like right here is give the heavy run look and come off a play action, leak somebody in the flat. Maybe you got a pop pass with the tight end. But you have to go here because you're playing good defense It's bend but don't break. Charlotte has not had any answers when it comes to capitalizing and earning points despite their long drives throughout the evening tonight.
This is the longest time drive of the night for North Carolina at 3 minutes and 45 seconds. 9 seconds left in the third quarter, 4th and 2. Charlotte trying to cling on to hope that they could knock off the Tar Heels, but they're down 2 scores and they need to stop here. Johnson in motion, empty set. Lopez claps his hands. Pressure coming over the middle. He got him. Jordan Shipp with a big catch at the 27-yard line.
You know, it's a good call. The one thing North Carolina's had a pretty good feel for tonight is that when they get in empty, that is a trigger because Charlotte's coming, and they've done it all night long. So they're figuring if we're going to get pressure, we'll run double slants from the top. And we don't have anybody in the middle of the field to interfere with it. You just got to win one-on-one, and they did there.
Bill Belichick hoping he is 15 minutes from his first win as head coach of the North Carolina Tar Heels. A 14-point North Carolina lead heading into the fourth quarter has not dimmed the hopes of the Charlotte faithful that have filled Jerry Richardson Stadium. Nothing in the score department for either team, and just 63 total combined yards in that quarter between these two teams. North Carolina, though, closing in on the red zone, trying to put this game away as June is dragged down for a loss of a yard. Jamarion Solomon got to him first.
Well, as we've talked about for much of that third quarter, you know, this is an offensive line that a week ago really struggled. And I think this coaching staff wants to try to instill some confidence by saying, all right, guys, let's run behind you guys. Let's have you guys finish this game out. Let's see how you do. Let's see if you can win at the point of attack. Can you sustain blocks? Put it on them. And in turn, hopefully generate some confidence.
2nd and 11, June. Gonna go out into the flats and catch this. He's stumbling and diving forward to the 27-yard line. Maybe got back to the original line of scrimmage. Actually gonna mark him at the 28. Charlotte wants a chance at this. This gotta be a 0, doesn't it?
Yeah, this has to be not only a stop, but preferably a negative play to put a field goal attempt in more difficulty.
We've seen them bring heat in this exact situation. You talked about it in the empty sets, them dialing the pressure.
Timeout. Charlotte, they're first. Timeout on the field.
That's probably not what you want to see if you're the 49ers having to burn a timeout at this stage in the game when you are trailing by 2 touchdowns. 3rd and 11 for the Tar Heels when we come back. North Carolina has a 3rd and 11 with 13:45 to play on the road here at Charlotte. An in-state matchup between the 49ers and Tar Heels. North Carolina just 4 for 11 though on 3rd down.
See that bunched up set to the top of the screen. Expect Gio Lopez to go to his left.
Hands off, and June just shoots through the hole. Strong running from Damon June, who is going to have the 1st down.
What fantastic execution on behalf of North Carolina right there. That was set up to go pass all the way. They line up. And again, we just talked about the offensive line having a moment, getting some confidence, pushing the pile. Charlotte's played pretty good versus the run for the most part tonight, but that was a terrific opportunity, and North Carolina came through.
6 carries for 50 yards for Damon June to lead this North Carolina rushing attack. Gets the carry again and churning the legs, but he's drugged down from behind. Solomon in on the stop, as well as Curtis Simpson. He runs hard, doesn't he?
He does run hard, and we've talked about it tonight. I mean, they've got a wealth of backs that they can just line up, plug and play, and they've got something for every situation. They can push the pile. They've got the short yardage guy. They've got the scat back. It's probably their best overall position group.
If you're a running back in that room right now, based on these first couple weeks, you know you're going to get an opportunity. We've seen a lot of different runners for North Carolina. Lopez under center. June again. It's a couple yards. Solomon, he has been all over the place for the 49ers defense.
You start to wonder if Charlotte's now kind of just running out of gas. And they've kept their team in this thing because of their defensive play. And now North Carolina's starting to lean on them a bit, taking their time, draining the clock. And you just keep handing that ball off, it starts to demoralize you a little bit.
Third and 7. June is the back. North Carolina now 5 for 12 on third down. Handoff to June, going right side. He's dragged down at the 16-yard line by Shea Taylor.
Shea Taylor does a nice job at the point of attack here. We talked about the run game and the success rate going north and south versus going east and west. Charlotte all over it that time. North Carolina set to line up for a field goal.
They were punishing Charlotte right up the gut with Damon June. Reese Verhoff on for the field goal attempt from 33 yards in the right hash. It is up, and it is good to make this a 3-score game. 20-3, North Carolina with 10:46 to play in the fourth quarter. Bill Belichick, is he closing in on win number 1? Look at this, a stadium record 19,233 at Jerry Richardson Stadium tonight. It seats 15,314. They brought in 2,400 temporary bleachers to the stadium for this game, and this has been a fantastic crowd. you could feel it from the drive in to this fantastic, beautiful campus here in Charlotte. It was pouring down rain.
Was it ever?
For the hours leading up to this game. We started 30 minutes late, and that did not deter this fan base one bit. Touchback will start Charlotte at the 25-yard line with 10:46 to play.
Well, huge turnout tonight. Obviously, anytime you get a Power 4 school, certainly one in-state like North Carolina, with the storylines surrounding North Carolina, you're going to have a great show out, and they're getting ready to expand the home side of Jerry Richardson Stadium. Press level, second level of seating, and done a really nice job with this stadium and the layout for future expansion if this program can start to gain some traction.
Just their 13th season in program history, their 11th competing at the FBS level. They have their new head coach, Tim Albin, and they feel like they are in a great position and trending upward in the American Conference. A pickup of 1 on the play by Cameron Smith to start this drive. Tim Albin will have a lot to think about after this game. He and his staff had his guys in a position to not just compete, but really challenge North Carolina, and had a chance to really put themselves in an opportunity to win this game. Harrell runs through a defender to the 38-yard line. Still time left, though, over 10 minutes.
Well, it just goes to show you, offensive football has become so difficult to defend in today's game. From the 20 to the 20, teams are going to go up and down the field on each other, and that's where red zone efficiency, defensive efficiency, offensive efficiency comes into play, and that's where North Carolina was better tonight.
And to run it on 3rd and short, they've got a first down. Smith again the ball carrier past the 35-yard line to move the chains. There's an offensive lineman down for Charlotte. Might be the center, Johnny King.
Please reset the play clock to 25 seconds. Thank you.
Not what you want to see.
Tough to get a clear line of sight there on the number.
I don't want to say for certain, but based on the other guys standing around, it does appear to be King. We'll try and get a confirmation on that.
Yeah, 55 Mo Clipper, 57 Mason Bowers, both in that Charlotte huddle on the sideline.
So Dallas Shirley will be the new center potentially, and we'll come back in just a moment. It is Johnny King, the starting center from Greensboro, North Carolina, the longest tenured 49er. His time in this program goes all the way back to 2020, a fourth-year starter, third year as a captain of this team, but has stuck around, and not what you want to see for King. He goes to the sideline. Charlotte has it 1st and 10. Ball down the sideline is incomplete. Justin Olson was the intended target. Allen was in coverage. It has moved Dallas Shirley, the right guard, to the center spot. And Devin Davis, a transfer from Butler Community College, steps up at right guard. Second and 10 at the 36-yard line for Connor Harrell. Has time, now rolls out. Space to step up into, tucks it, and he'll run. Harrell cut down with flags all over the place. Tackle on the play by Dixon. A couple yards shy of a first down. We'll see what the flags are.
They're going to get a cutback block on Charlotte here.
Personal foul, illegal blindside block. Offense number 17. 15-yard penalty at second down.
It's on Gus McGee, the San Diego State transfer, 5th-year senior. And on the left side of your screen, you're going to see him get a beat.
Correction, the foul's on number 7.
Right there on Kamori House.
It's going to be 2nd down and 20. Back at the 26-yard line. Nicholas in motion. This one gets by Harrell, scoops it up, and just falls down at the 10. Frustrating night for some mistakes from Charlotte continues.
Well, again, backup center, and that's a bit of a low snap, but certainly one that Connor Harrell is capable of handling.
Third and 36. Harrell flushed out of the pocket toward the sideline, sets up and heaves it out of bounds. And that'll force a 49ers punt. This was a 10-3 game late in the first half when Charlotte missed a field goal.
Right.
And North Carolina marched down the field, made it 17-3 at the break, and just completely changed the complexion of this game. Long with a short punt, bounces around the 40 and takes a Charlotte hop into North Carolina territory and is downed at the 41-yard line. Gio Lopez back on the field, just under 8 minutes to play, and it started with the big one to Chris Culliver.
Yeah, kicked off this game the exact same way they did a week ago. This is a beautiful throw over the top from Gio Lopez to Chris Culliver. Unfortunately, Culliver suffered a shoulder injury tonight. Didn't see any action this second half. But this is what North Carolina's offense is capable of. Far more consistent, better in the run game, better execution in the offensive line, and a stable of running backs to choose from.
Goss got the score earlier. Benjamin Hall's going to get the carry right here. Hesitates and then shoots through the gap. He's going to have 7 yards on that first down carry. Benjamin Hall, the redshirt sophomore from Kennesaw, Georgia, transferred over from Michigan, where he was on that 2023 national championship team. How much do you value that in the portal if you're a coach? Just guys from winning programs.
I think there's always something to be said for winning pedigree, an expectation level, a standard that is expected to be met. You bring that into your locker room because they've seen it, they've done it, they know what it takes.
2nd and 3 near midfield. Handoff to Hall again, and he is dropped in the backfield for a loss. Curtis Simpson, as well as Colin Gill on the stop.
And you look at some of these running backs from North Carolina. Caleb Hood's 220. The freshman Damon June's 215. Davion Goss 215. And then Benjamin Hall's 235 pounds.
That'll wear you down over the course of 60 minutes.
Absolutely. And this Charlotte defense over the last 5 minutes here, this fourth quarter, has run out of gas.
3rd and 3. Handoff to Hood. He is tripped up, and he's going to be about a yard short of a first down. One of the things Bill Belichick stressed, no turnovers. Fundamentals, of course, is what you're going to get from him, but they have taken care of the football tonight.
They've taken care of the football. They've had a couple of penalties. They had the penalty, the pre-snap penalty on the punt that he was not pleased with on the sideline. You could see it in his facial expression. But certainly cleaner than a week ago, and that's what you hope to see is improvement. He also needed some good things to happen to his team tonight.
Whistles before this punt and a timeout on the field for North Carolina.
30 seconds.
.543 to play in the fourth. Next Saturday, 2 more big SEC games on ABC and the all-new ESPN app at 3:30 Eastern. Number 4 Georgia headed to Knoxville to take on number 22 Tennessee, and at 7:30 third-ranked LSU hosting number who knows what Florida will be after that South Florida loss, but that game in Death Valley.
Well, I wouldn't take Florida lightly if I'm LSU. And took Georgia a little while to put away Austin Peay today. Tennessee looking pretty good now with Joey Aguilar coming over from App State via detour at UCLA.
Are you buying Florida State stock early?
I'm buying that they are significantly improved. And as each week passes and they gain more and more confidence, it could turn into a problem.
McGinnis gets the punt away. And fair caught at the 11-yard line by Javen Nicholas. Let's go down to the field with Maryland for a report on. Actually, got a flag on the field. We'll hold off on Maryland for just a moment.
During the kick, holding, receiving team, number 19. Penalty is half the distance to the goal from the end of the kick. First down, Charlotte.
Charlotte will take over inside their own 10-yard line. Let's go down to Maryland with an update on Johnny King.
Yeah, Charlotte center Johnny King is still in the injury tent as he was escorted, and the support staff that was holding almost all of his body weight very, very tenderly paused before he even could take a step over the bottom of the tent. Just a little 2-inch raise was a challenge for him. They softly sat him down and have kept him sitting as members of the medical staff pressed into and touched along his back. I'll update with more when I have it.
Yeah, hoping the best for Johnny King. Nice run here on the outside for Rod Gainey Jr. A flag, couple of them, one back at the 10-yard line, one at the 20-yard line. There's also a new quarterback in the game for Charlotte, Grayson Loftus.
Offense, number 9. Penalty is half the distance to the goal. First down.
It's Tyre Brooks, one of the wide receivers, called for the hold on that nice run by Gainey, but we'll get the chance to see Loftus, who spent the last 2 years at Duke. Didn't throw a pass last year, but he made 5 starts as a true freshman there in 2023.
Yeah, played really well for Duke, won some football games for him. This is a nice pickup through the transfer portal, just a redshirt sophomore.
Former 3-star recruit out of Gaffney High School, number 10 overall ranked in the state of South Carolina. Loftus from his own end zone. Flushed out of the pocket, being chased. He's got some wheels too and crosses the 10-yard line out of bounds at the 13. You know, I had to get my 3-star and ranks in the state out for the national recruiting director.
Well, there you go. Yeah, he's a good player out of South Carolina, right across the border here from Charlotte. And they've got 2 quarterbacks that have played a good bit of football, which is tough to come by in the transfer portal these days on the same team.
Handoff to Gainey, who goes nowhere. Robinson for North Carolina making the play. Connor Harrell finishes the night 17 of 29, 140 yards. Man, they look really good at times tonight, and there were times where they looked like they were really struggling.
Well, and all those struggles for the most part came inside the 15-yard line going in for potential points.
He made that play on 4th down, that throw into the end zone on a ball that ended up dropped. Would have been a tough catch, but probably one Charlotte would like to have back. A nice throw to Nicholas from Loftus.
Javen Nicholas has been a pleasant surprise tonight. They've found a go-to target that they can line up on the outside in the slot. It's been really good versus zone defense, knows how to locate those soft voids. That time Grayson Loftus on point.
12 men on the field for North Carolina, so a free play is going to be picked off, but it's not going to matter. Mekhi Bayer has it. One of North Carolina's defensive linemen, it might have been Xavier Lewis, was not off the field in time.
Illegal substitution. Defense, 12 players on the field. 5-yard penalty, 1st down.
Take a look at the top of your screen. And that is big number 90, the true freshman, Xavier Lewis. He's going to learn.
Raleigh native, went to Rollsville High School. Loftus with time, looking sideline toward Nicholas, and it looked like he got a toe tap down there at the 46-yard line. He's over 100 yards receiving on the day.
He's been really impressive, as we just stated. And goes up and attacks the ball, catches the ball in traffic.
They move the chains yet again on 1st down. That time E.J. Mason. First and 10 at the 34-yard line. 2:40 and ticking left with Charlotte trailing by 17. Loftus pushing it down the field, and a nice throw and catch. The tight end Gus McGee going up and getting it.
Excellent timing on the post route right here. One hitch, let it loose. See if you can cap off this 4th quarter if you're Charlotte with some positive momentum.
From the 9-yard line, Loftus staring down a big man in his face, and it's picked off at the goal line. This might go the other direction. Last chance to make the stop, and it's made. Greg Smith, the redshirt freshman, with his first interception.
Lo and behold, it looks like Javen Nicholas, who we've talked about tonight as a receiver, ends up making the tackle and saving, to your point, what would likely have been a touchdown. Yep, there he is. North Carolina coming up with some plays on defense. Done it all night in the red area. Bit of a bend but don't break mentality tonight for the Tar Heels.
One more snap before the 2-minute timeout. Lopez still the quarterback for the Tar Heels. And something was wrong with that. Someone went the wrong way, and Lopez just sits on it for a 3-yard loss. The 2-minute timeout here in Charlotte. North Carolina headed for win number 1. This is what's left for North Carolina next week. Back home to host Richmond before a date with UCF in Orlando. They'll have a bye week, and then it's the big one against number 8 Clemson. The good news for North Carolina, out of the top 5 in the preseason ACC poll, they only play one of them, and that's Clemson. They also avoid Florida State, who was not picked in the top 5, but looks like they might be a problem this year as well.
Yeah, it's a manageable schedule, but now what we've also seen is it looks like Cal's got a quarterback, right? So they may be difficult to deal with. Duke had a tough outing today. NC State, I think, is going to be a pretty good football team. It said that's the second easiest schedule in the ACC. You know, the first is Virginia.
Well, the other thing about the ACC, they have tested themselves early. Last week, they really put themselves through the gauntlet.
No question.
So these teams, when you do get to them, no matter what people think of them, are going to be battle tested. This is 3rd and 4 with 1:10 to play in the game. Handoff to Goss. And he will be just shy. No, it's going to be a first down and move the chains and will effectively end this football game. Well, I don't think it's going to answer all the questions that have been asked about North Carolina, but at the end of the day, it's going to be a win for this football team, and they desperately needed it.
It's growth in progress, and there's a lot more positives than negatives. And that's what you wanted to see coming off of last week. Listen, this team was embarrassed. The coaching staff was embarrassed. Then you have a short week to have to go on the road in state to an environment tonight that was fantastic. This team had a little bit of a chip on their shoulder.
On the field of a first down is under further review.
We're going to review this first down.
Bill Belichick's looking at that going, do we really need to review this first down?
We're all on the edge of our seats.
And who challenged it?
Yes, came from the booth.
Guess.
Well, let's take a look, Tom. Give us the call.
Down, right? I mean, the spot of the ball, they're going to move it back here just a little bit, it looks like. The official standing over the ball actually just moved it back. It was sitting on the 40-yard line.
And if that is indeed the result, this should be 4th down and a foot. Charlotte.
Head referees over there, he's still looking at the monitor, and the 3 officials huddled around the football have already made a move. They picked it up and moved it back.
The headset's back on for Coach over there on the sideline. Well, we showed you what's up next for North Carolina. Charlotte will stay here. They'll have Monmouth next weekend. They'll open American play on September 18th against Rice. And then they're out South Florida. So you talk about the Clemson game for North Carolina. It's the South Florida game right now for Charlotte and a lot of the American Conference that they will be looking forward to, because that's a team that you got to think is going to be in the top 25 this week.
Well, that, and they really, truly feel like they could be the Group of 5 darling this year. And, you know, they knew the schedule. It was going to be hefty, especially in that first 3 weeks, opening with Boise, then Florida. You're 2-0 going into the game with Miami. But South Florida's put themselves in a great position.
I think if you ask South Florida fans before the season, we'll give you 2 wins in the first 3 weeks, take it or leave it. They'd say, yes, please.
Absolutely. 7 days a week.
And now they got a chance to start 3-0 with potentially 3 top 25 wins.
After further review, the runner was short of the line to gain. It's 4th down. Charlotte was taking its 2nd charge timeout to avoid the 10-second runoff. Please reset the game clock to 1:08, and the clock will start on the snap.
So we'll add 38 seconds back to the clock. It will be 4th and a foot. Maybe not even. And North Carolina will punt one more time. Their punter, Tom McGinnis, is from Melbourne, Australia. Sends this away to Nicholas, who fields it at the 16-yard line. Charlotte comes out for the last 61 seconds. What has stood out most about Tim Albin's team in week number 2?
I thought they showed some toughness and some resiliency. They really settled down on defense after that first series, and they made North Carolina earn it. And North Carolina, I thought, was very wise in the second half to really lean on their offensive line and wear down the Charlotte defense, which they were able to do. They've got a lot of work to do on offense, particularly with red zone efficiency. They had some nice sustained drives tonight, but they could not score. You have a drop touchdown in the red area. You have a missed field goal.
Javen Nicholas adding to his totals as their starting quarterback Connor Harrell looks on. Nicholas 10 catches for 111 yards on the night. Loftus feels the pressure, just flips it out for Gainey. Walks it out of bounds. 50 seconds. The one power conference win for Charlotte came on this field in 2021, the season opener, beating North Carolina's biggest rival, the Duke Blue Devils. And a very dramatic finish, 31-28. Pressure there by Daniel Anderson, forcing that incomplete pass and a 3rd down.
North Carolina having the opportunity here to really rotate some of their players. They didn't have a chance to do much of that a week ago, so they're going to have a much bigger sample size of what they have roster-wise because of the second half of this game.
Loftus down the middle. Another 1st down gain for Javen Nicholas, becoming the featured target. It's so interesting with the portal and some of these guys like Nicholas, you mentioned, was at LSU for 3 years. He played in 26 games. He caught 4 passes.
Right.
He was a walk-on back in 2022, but here he is at Charlotte, and he's got a chance to be a star for them.
Absolutely. They found them something on the perimeter, and you said when we came on air that was one position that hadn't really materialized.
Long ball from Loftus is just outside his intended target. E.J. Mason was a position last year they had a really big play guy, Omega Blake, who caught only 32 passes for almost 800 yards. Those are big shoes to fill at that wide receiver position. Nicholas is actually kind of hobbling his way off the field right now, jogging off. Get that man an ice bath. They need him next week against Monmouth. 2nd and 10 at the 43 with 19 seconds left. Another throw over the middle. Caught this time by Derek Ely. Loftus will clock it with 9 seconds to play. You hit that Star Wars reference in the 3rd quarter, and you're just going to leave me wanting more. Heading home now.
What do you want to go with?
I don't know.
Anchorman, Caddyshack, Jaws, you name it.
I like that you have range.
Oh, it's a deep library.
Loftus heaves it toward the end zone and picked off inside the 5-yard line. That is how the night will end. Malcolm Ziegler with the interception. 20-3, North Carolina defeats Charlotte here at Jerry Richardson Stadium, and for the 73-year-old Bill Belichick, it is his first win at the collegiate level as head coach of the Tar Heels.
He takes a big breath, right? You get to wipe that taste out of your mouth from a week ago, come on the road. Everybody's wanting to see what you would be, how you'd respond. And they got better tonight.
It was not the easiest of victories, a gritty performance against this Charlotte team that made them work for it, but Gio Lopez maybe takes a step as well to get his confidence going as the starting quarterback for this team. We did not see Max Johnson at all. That was one of our questions coming in.
Sure.
They like Gio Lopez, and they're going to roll with him right now.
Well, and he proved him right tonight. I thought he did some really nice things. Steady consistency, made plays with his legs, made some difficult throws. They had that great opening drive, and they kind of fell into a bit of a lull there for a while, but he got him out of it. And he also avoided a lot of negative plays.
They turn their attention back to Chapel Hill, where they will host Richmond next week before that road trip to UCF, just 4 weeks away from a date with number 8 Clemson. North Carolina over Charlotte, 20-3 for our entire crew. Tom Luganbill, Marilyn Payne, Andrea Crawford, Steve Toll. I'm Chucky Kemp. We appreciate you so much for joining us. Another fantastic week of college football. It's the best time of year. Enjoy it. We'll see you next time.
He's going to say something too.